Good morning, Darren. Surely there will be some sort of political backlash if Sunak goes ahead with this today?
Yeah, just let me talk you through the details. First of all, Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, is going to speak in the Commons in just over an hour's time. And we're going to hear from the Prime Minister in Downing Street, going to hold a press conference a little later on today as well. Will there be a backlash? You have rightly pointed out there definitely, of course, will be. The Labour Party suggesting this plan is not going to work. I think the main political problems, though, for the government could well be in the House of Lords, which is likely to try and amend some of this legislation. There are many human rights groups who feel that it simply goes too far and that it does impinge on people's human rights. There's even talk that the government, if it gets to that stage, again would look at pulling out of the European Convention on human rights, though it must be said it's something that Rishi Sunak hasn't seemed to date terribly keen on, even if some people within his own party are. I think, though, the big fundamental political problem for the government is not necessarily how popular this might be. I think opinion polls do suggest that tightening measures or more stringent measures on tackling the small boats crisis is popular. It's whether it's going to work or not, because in the end, if one of your pledges is to stop people entirely from crossing the English Channel, and that doesn't happen, then public opinion might well decide that it has been a failure. And that is the big challenge for the government. We know that, 47,000 people crossed last year, over 3,000 so far this year. Will these measures really deter people from actually making that journey? Also, I think, how do you tackle the gangs? There's been lots of talk again about that, and we know that President Macron is going to meet Rishi Sunak in France a little later on this week. Clearly dealing with the gangs will be a big issue, but that really depends on French cooperation. And I think the big problem with the asylum system in many regards in this country is not even just people coming here in small boats, but is actually the backlog that's been created. Only 3% of the people who applied for asylum in this country last year have actually had their asylum application dealt with. This is not going to apply retrospectively, so we're still going to have a lot of people who are going to have their asylum applications sorted. And then there is the actual question about in practice this is going to work. Prime Minister spoke to the President of Rwanda yesterday. What is their capacity in terms of being able to take some of these migrants? Obviously, there is a scheme in place. It's not been used yet. It's bogged down in the courts. Even if that issue is sorted, though, Andrew and Bev, Rwanda, when I was there, hasn't got the capacity to deal with tens of thousands of people. You know, you can only put 300 people on a flight, and they've only got rooms at the moment for, I think, around 500, though they say they're going to expand that. But at the moment, there are big questions about whether that scheme has got the potential to cope with the possible numbers involved.